I am so glad you decided to join us today. This is the Words for Life podcast, where we have candid conversations about successes, challenges, and the benefits of strengthening your relationship with God. This will positively impact your life. Welcome to episode 28 of the Words for Life podcast. I'm your host, Terrence Farrell, aka T Farrell, and I'm so excited about today's episode. Today I have a longtime friend here with me, Cloraine Benoit, longtime friend from church, and she's agreed to come on and have a candid conversation about certain parts of her life, and I believe 100% you're going to be blessed by this. But before we get started there, before we start with the discussion, want to share a little testimony. Now, I'm naturally a person that's always looking to succeed, always looking for the next thing, and you know, trying to succeed and become better. And a little while ago, a friend of mine by the name of Fred, I'm gonna shout him out, Fred. He asked me a question. He said, "Do you feel like you're successful?" And I had to pause because since I'm always looking for the next thing to like say, okay, it's gonna be successful when I do this, I didn't always see myself as successful now. I'm gonna be successful when I get there. He's like, dude, you need to really think about this. You're already successful. And I'm like, yeah, I've done this. He was like, no, seriously. And I had a friend just this week, another friend, give me a call. And he said, Terrence, you realize we need to really think about how blessed we are. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm blessed. Yes, it's true. We're blessed. And he's like, no, take a minute, sit back and think about the way the world is right now, everything people are going through. We are truly blessed, and you need to take some time and thank God about that. And so it made me pause and it was like, yeah, of course. But then after I got off the line, I took some time and really thought about it. Thought about all the things God's brought me through, all the things this crazy year, how he's kept me. And I wanted to share that because no matter what it is you have, what it is you don't have, you're truly blessed. If you're still alive, you are blessed. It's not over. And if you take some time and think about that, forget about the chaos, forget about what it is you're trying to accomplish and you're not there yet, or maybe you just reached it and now you set a new goal, you're truly blessed and successful already. And so now I realized, I wrote it down, I'm already successful. I'm just looking to build on that success. And it's a different perspective because, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm successful already, I don't need to do anything else. No, I'm always striving for the next thing. But the mindset is I'm already successful. God has already blessed me. And I just wanted to share that so that hopefully that inspires somebody else, just for you to take a different perspective on your life and where you are. Take a moment to thank God for where you are now. And that's what I wanted to share. Now, want to move right into thank you. I want to move into our discussion with Cloraine. Now, I wrote down a couple of little blurbs here. Cloraine is an experienced psychotherapist who works as a forensic social worker at Maryland Department of Health, which is a pretty interesting job. We've been talking about it. It's like, whoa, that's nice. She's also a liver transplant survivor. What I love most about her is her authentic energy. She always has this smile and she just keeps it real while giving God all the credit. So without further ado, I'd like to let you help me welcome Cloraine Benoit. Cloraine, how you doing?
I am doing good. Thank you, Terrence, for having me here.
No problem. It's been a little while, but it's nice to see you.
Definitely.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to start. How you been? How's the family? How's everything going?
Well, it's COVID, so we're home, locked down.
Yeah.
However, like you said, we are blessed. We are alive. We're healthy. and we have each other. So that's awesome for us.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Now, I always like to start off with this wide open question.
Hmm.
Who is Cloraine Benoit?
Ooh, who is Cloraine Benoit? Okay. Officially Cloraine Michelle, married to a wonderful man who gave me the
Nice.
Benoit name.
Amen.
But everyone knows me as Tico. So
Yes, that's
that's
right.
mhm. So let me see. Who is Cloraine? So who is Tico? I am a Haitian American. I am a wife to an amazing and loving husband for 16 years. This year will make it 17 years.
Nice.
That's my ride and die right there. I'm also a mother to two beautiful daughters. One is
Mhm.
22, and my last is 11. And I can't forget my dog, Prince. Yes.
Nice, 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 nice.
I am also a sister and to many of my siblings, and I am best friend to some of my friends out there. And like you mentioned before, I am a forensic social worker at day, and I am a therapist by night.
Nice. Got a lot of things going on there.
I am, and I am a liver transplant survivor.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I want to start off by asking you, what's your most memorable success story?
I like that question. My most memorable, I have to say, when I graduated with my master's in social work, I had to take my LCSW exam. And I have to tell you, I have to be honest, it took 4 times for me to pass that test.
Wow.
And if people know how expensive those exams are,
Hmm.
there were times where I was just so distraught, so disappointed. I remember calling my husband one day, I'm just going to drive off the road. I'm not coming home. I can't take it no more. I'm tired of
Wow.
failing these tests. And he was like, girl, come home. So I came home and I kept trying. And on the fourth try, I passed the exam. Um, and that was the most successful feeling that I experienced that day.
Nice, nice, nice. Now, what? And I asked this question because as we go through life, we get the nice jobs or we do this, and it's always interesting for me to see which part of your life is like one of those most memorable.
Hmm.
And you talked about that. What are some of the lessons you learned from that experience?
Perseverance.
Mm,
You can't give up.
mm-hmm,
I've spoke to many social workers or other people out there who were trying to pass their exams, and after one or two tries, they gave up.
mm,
Um, and there was times I wanted to give up as well. I was like, maybe this was not where God wanted me to be. However, I never got that feedback from him. He was just telling me there's a lesson to this. You have to keep fighting. You have to keep studying harder. You can't give up. You have your children who are watching you.
mm,
So that kept me pushing. And it also helped me to appreciate um, my degree,
mm.
and it helped me to appreciate my license. I take it very serious. I worked really hard for it. I paid a lot of money for it. So I don't take it serious. I don't play with it. It's serious. I appreciate it, and I give God the glory every day when I write those credentials behind my name.
Mm, mm. And that's so key because something that you mentioned there, a lot of times when we're going through and we hit walls or we experience a failure, automatically we think, oh, maybe God didn't call me to do this, or maybe I got my signals crossed when I thought God said this, and you said you went back to Him, and that wasn't the feedback you were getting from Him, and a lot of
Not
times.
whatever.
Yeah, a lot of times we just go, maybe that wasn't the road for me, and we turn
Hmm.
and start a whole nother road, and it becomes a pattern of, dare I say, giving up.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So every time we had a roadblock, it's like, oh, maybe that wasn't it. And perseverance is a key.
It is.
It really is a key.
Faithfulness,
Yeah.
just trusting. and not giving up on yourself. We give up on ourselves too quickly,
Mm-hmm.
because we need that quick gratification.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's not about that. Sometimes about pushing, suffering. Sometimes you have to feel some pain, to
Nobody
remind
wants
you.
nobody wants to do that though. I don't want
And
to do
all these things we
that.
do not want to feel.
Right.
However, I have that scar to remind me, okay, if I can do it, many of us can do it too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's cool. I appreciate that. Now on the flip side, what's one of the toughest things God's pulled you through?
Oh, I have to say, the liver transplant.
Yeah, I figured that.
Oh my gosh. Um, I was diagnosed with a liver disease. Actually, I was not diagnosed. By the age of 17, they noticed that my liver was not functioning well. My enzymes were really high,
Mm.
where they're supposed to be like 0 to 22 range, like certain levels. Mine's was over 1,000.
Mm.
And it stayed like that. During pregnancy, I suffered a lot. I lost a lot of weight. My body was just shutting down. So that's why I only have 2 kids. If it wasn't for that, I would have did 3. But I want to say by 33, when I was 33, the doctors diagnosed me with a rare liver disease. By then, it was too late. I was already at stage 3, so they couldn't cut the piece of the liver and have it regenerate.
Mm.
Um, and it just progressed. It progressed. Just 2019, I got into my final stage, and hey, just making the best of life, traveling with my husband. But traveling was always hard because as much as we do excursions, it would wear me out. But we just continued with life. I want to say January of 2020, things progressed even more. So things that I used to be able to do with my daughter, taking her to her swim lessons, gymnastic practice, I couldn't do it anymore. I became too weak. I couldn't get out of bed half of the times.
Mm.
Um, then it came to a point where I couldn't drive anymore because I was losing muscle mass. So my muscles would cramp up and I couldn't drive. My hands would just get really stiff. I would have to pull over. And then it came to a point where I couldn't drive at all. So people would have to take me to work and pick me up. And things just continued to progress even more. I was losing blood every day, not eating. I lost so much weight. And my body was shutting down. So internally in my mind, I knew I was going to die. I never voiced it because I'm like the happy spirit, go lucky person in the
Mm-hmm.
home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to keep everybody, hey, we're going to make this, we're going to fight. So, but I knew in my heart and my mind that I wasn't going to make it. However, I just trusted God. I was just like, Lord, you know, at the end of the day, it's your will. So if I don't make it on earth, it's not the final.
Yeah.
It's not the final chapter. I know
Mm-hmm.
when you come back, I'm going to be well in heaven. So it's good. So let your will be done. I'm really good with whatever you got to do. Just take care of my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was getting worse because my dog would come to my side of my bed and he would moan like he knew something was
Mm.
going on. And I would talk to him all the time. He's like, yeah, mommy's not going to make it. And it came to a point I had to step away from work because I couldn't work. And in that process too, I was losing memory. So I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't remember how to get to work, how to get home. I always used the GPS.
Mm.
Yeah, I was becoming delirious. It was really, insomnia was a part of it. It was really bad. And then finally, I got a call. They always tell you the waiting phase is the hardest, waiting for a transplant.
Mm-hmm.
We had people who signed up who wanted to be donors. However, process was taking a long time. Like they have to interview one person at a time. And mind you, I think it was 6 people lined up who wanted to be donors.
Mm.
And they were still on the first one. So In March of 2020, laying in bed, I was contemplating like just making things good with God.
Mm-hmm.
I even took a picture of myself that day. My eyes are yellow, skin is pale looking. And I remember telling God how much I love him. And I thanked him for everything, for my kids,
Mm.
having the opportunity to have what I have. And while I'm laying there, I get a call,
Wow.
12 o'clock in the afternoon. Tell you, God is off the chain.
Yes.
And he has a good sense of humor. So I was laying there and I was like, yes. Hi. They were like, Cloraine, how are you feeling? I'm like, I'm in bed. I can't move. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, we need you to come to the hospital. I was like, why? It was like, your numbers are, they're not good. They're worse. Your mal numbers are 30. It was 32. The most it can go up to is 40. So I was at 32. And they said, we need you to come in as soon as possible. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'll come tomorrow morning. They're like, no, 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 no. You need to come now. I was like, during rush hour? I was like, okay, well, let me call my husband and let me see. She said, no, 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 no. We need you here by 3 o'clock. I said, okay. So my husband and I, we already had um, emergency bag always packed just in case.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on the transplant list, you always need to have a bag ready.
Right.
So we had our bags ready. He came home and I was like, look, before we get to the hospital, I need to eat some food. And he was like, well, what do you want? I said, my last meal, look, let's make it Taco Bell's. He said, Taco Bell, baby, you don't ever eat Taco Bells. I said, I know, I'm craving Taco Bells. Let's have Taco Bells. So I had me Taco Bells before we got to the hospital. Because you know, when you get to the hospital, they don't feed you. And we got to the hospital, and sure enough, they admitted me. And they told me by that evening, my numbers went to 36.
Mm.
But they were so like amazed how my spirit was so uplifting. I
Mm-hmm.
was cracking jokes with them, just walking around, just having a good old time, you know. And they just couldn't believe. There was like, someone like you in your condition, you should be in ICU right now. But we just can't understand. I was like, oh, it's simple. Jesus, that's it.
Nice.
So by the next day, my numbers went up to 38 and still losing blood every day. They had to give me blood transfusion. And I think it was Thursday evening, my pastor came and prayed over me. Um, they came and they said, we think we got a match for you, but we're not sure. And my husband was like, well, okay, fine. You know, not putting too much energy into it. And then finally Friday, they came and they said, we're going to start prepping your body. We found you a match and you're going to have surgery Saturday morning. So my husband was like, oh my gosh, this is it. So we started calling um and that's how it went. Saturday was, I had my surgery. What should have been over 8 hours took 4.5 hours.
Nice. Nice.
Where they usually staple the wounds, they stitched me because the liver took so quickly. Once they
Nice.
connected, it started pumping, and they were like, they didn't feel the urge to staple. They were so sure that they can stitch it and they wouldn't have to go back in. Even the nurses, every time they would come and evaluate me, so how's the staples? I was like, I don't have staples. They was like, yes, you do. It's like, no, I don't. And they was like, that's impossible. Every liver transplant has staples. I was like, well, check the documents. And they sure enough checked they would have to come back and apologize to me over.
Wow. God is
What
awesome.
It is awesome. ICU should have been 5 days. I stayed 2 days.
Mm.
Recovery on the floor should have been another 5 days. I stayed 3 days. And I
Mm.
was discharged just in time before COVID went rampant.
I was
By the
just
time
about to,
I got
yeah.
home,
Mm-hmm.
they shut down. They shut down Maryland.
Wow.
That's amazing. I'm
It
telling you,
is.
God is off the chain.
He
It's like he
is.
had everything ordered, everything planned out.
That's hot.
So, and I just thank him. I mean, even recovery home, it was hard
Hmm.
because you're not getting the same medications from the hospital. So,
Right, right, right.
but God had everything placed. My husband had recliner chairs ordered. He had everything ordered in for me, to make the recovery smooth. And he was just a great care provider. He took care of me like 100%. Made sure I ate meals 3 times a day, healthy meals and healthy snacks as well.
Hmm.
So God is just amazing,
That's awesome.
amazing.
That is because I was gonna ask you once you said March 2020. Like when we first spoke, I didn't realize it was so soon. Like this
Hmm.
just happened. It's under a year old.
Yes, under a year.
Yeah. And so through this whole thing, like God had you in, out right before everything hit.
Yes.
That's
I was going
crazy.
up and down the steps. Their physical therapy came to see me on the second day on the recovery floor and was like, "Hey, how you feel about walking around?" I'm like, "Sure." I walked around the room. The next day they were like, "Hey, how you feel about going up and down the steps?" "Sure." And they were like, "You're clear to go home. You can do it."
Mm,
And they said, "We've
nice.
never seen a patient like you before." And I was like, again, Jesus.
Yeah. 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 That's awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. Um, now, in hopes that it would help somebody that's listening, and
Hmm.
I've had these moments where in life you get a word from God that kind of changes the whole direction of your life, or it changes your approach to life. Do you mind sharing like a word that you got from God that kind of like shifted your way of thinking or shifted your life from that point?
Yes. He helped me to realize this world here is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put too much weight here. Um, in this life, family is important. Your friends are important.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take things seriously. Learn to forgive. Learn to laugh more.
Mm.
Learn to enjoy every second, every moment of your life. I thank God for literally everything. I was able to braid my daughter's hair last week. I remember just last year, the year before that, I couldn't braid her hair anymore because my fingers and my legs would cramp up. I was retaining fluids. I couldn't sit long. I couldn't stand long to do her hair. I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful for those tiny things. I'm grateful that I can get 6, 8 hours of sleep when before I would stay up all night.
Mm-hmm.
Started becoming paranoid. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for everything. And um, he just reminds me of, he tells me all the time, don't take things seriously. You know,
Mm-hmm.
don't get all stressed and worked out for little stuff. It's not even worth it. And it's
Right.
not. So I take the time to make memories with everyone. People thought I smiled a lot back then. I smile even more. I laugh even
Nice.
more. Um, and those are things that he reminds me till this day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's key. That's key. That even helps me because sometimes we do get stressed out and overburdened with things that are here. It's like, no, I
Hmm.
got to do this. And that was wrong. And I can't believe you said that. And we get so stressed out, and the relationships, are on the back burner.
Exactly.
And so that's so key. I'm glad you shared that. I'm really glad you shared that. So what's next for Tico?
What's next? I have to be honest with you. This was a tricky question. I like it though. I like when questions make me think. Wow. What's next for me? I tell you, the spiritual journey with God,
Mm-hmm.
strengthening it, getting stronger. Also letting people know how good he is. I'm so happy I had this opportunity because I am so excited when people ask me, "You want to share your story?" It's like, yes.
Nice.
Where he brought me from, definitely. Um, so continuing to spread the gospel about how awesome he is, spending more time with my family. I have siblings that we weren't too close, and because of our family was so dysfunctional, and now we're trying to connect and get stronger, um, and just continue just being a good mom, um, being a good wife. That's what's next. Just progressing in that,
Mm-hmm.
progressing in being a good social worker, advocating for people out there who need someone to speak up for them. So that's my journey. That's what's next for me, and
That's
just staying
cool.
healthy because um, that's important.
Yeah.
Keeping this body. I need to keep this liver. I call her Celie. So Celie and I should never part again. So I need to keep her staying healthy, eating well,
Mhm.
having that time of exercising, keeping myself going, keeping the mind together, So these are the next journeys for me.
Nice, nice. And that's so key. I'm so glad you said that. My partner and I, we own a company, Be More Today, and what we always say is if you can stay strong physically and spiritually, everything else seems to fall in place.
I totally agree with that. Totally.
Everything else
Because a
seems
lot
to,
of things
yeah.
starts up here in the mind.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Definitely. So if you can stay physically strong and spiritually strong, everything else, yeah, you gotta get your finances in order. Yeah, you gotta do other things, but it just seems to get in place. You put God first and you take care of your body so you have the energy to do what God says
That's
to do.
right.
And
That's
that's
that foundation.
yes, definitely. And that's what Be More Today is about. That's why we put the company together. And I just it's all tying together. God is awesome.
I
God is
love it.
awesome.
Oh, and
Yes.
don't forget
Yes.
travel. I love to travel. So
Oh
that's my
yeah.
next journey too. Ooh.
Okay. Okay.
As soon as COVID allows us to. So
Yes. 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 Got to get past this. Got to get past
yes,
this. And we will. We will. We
we
will.
will.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if you're a social media person or whatever. Where can people find you or support or?
Let me see. I am definitely on LinkedIn.
Okay.
That's under Cloraine Benoit. Yes, that's the professional one.
Okay.
On Facebook and Instagram, I'm under Menmwen Tico.
Nice. I'll put some links. I'll put links so if people want to
Yes,
contact you.
yes. So the Instagram one is more like liver awareness, trying to communicate and connect with other people
Nice.
who have transplants as well.
Hmm.
And Facebook is just family and friends. So,
That's cool. 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 Any final thoughts you want to share with listeners or word of advice?
um, life is so short. Take the moment to enjoy it.
Hmm.
I just wanted to throw in there. My mother-in-law just passed away last week, Thursday,
Oh man.
and it just reminded me again how life is short. So take the time, reach out to your family, reach out to your friends, connect, reconnect.
Hmm.
Most of all, stay connected to God because even through the pandemic and the crisis that each of us are experiencing, I continue to encourage my family, no matter what, we cannot turn our backs on God.
Hmm.
Um, this is not his fault. We can't be upset at him. Who we really need to be upset at is the devil, not him. So we need to stay connected to him at all times. And remember, this is just temporal. So keep persevering, keep pushing, um, enjoy life, reduce your stress,
Hmm.
stay connected, and love yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, keys. All good nuggets. All good nuggets. I love it. I love
Little
it.
gems there, you
Yes,
know?
little gems all over the place. They might have to replay this one and write some of this stuff down. Amen. Amen. My condolences. My condolences.
Thank you. Thank
Oh
you.
man. So I really appreciate you taking the time. People, this is the Words for Life podcast. I hope and I believe you were encouraged, inspired by something here. Again, Be More Today. If you want to find out more about Words for Life, it's under BeMoreToday.com. That's BeMoreToday.com. You'll see a Words for Life link. You'll also see there's a Be More Today book we have. We have some apparel. We've got workouts on the Be More Today YouTube page. There's a Words for Life. But once you go to the site, you'll see links and you can go anywhere. And it's all inspiring, really basically trying to keep you strong, help you stay strong physically and spiritually. And with that said, what we're going to do is play one of the Words for Life tracks to end the podcast. Those are also available on the Be More Today site under Words for Life. And remember, walking through life with God has amazing benefits. So let this podcast inspire you to be better than you were yesterday. And with that, we're out.
With the understanding that success is inevitable, then the process is the gift. I'm going to win. I'm not set up to fail. I got God on my side. It doesn't matter how long it takes. There's regular faith. You know what I mean? There's faith that's a noun, which is unactivated. There's faith that's a verb, and it's like, God help me pay my bills. You understand what I'm saying? And then there's faith that is irrational and illogical. And it's like, I know that God can do anything. So I have no limits. It's not that I'm so insatiable. I'm just a faithful steward. And I got to be accountable for everything God gives me. So guess what? That man put a camera in my hand. Then he placed me in a room and gave me an opportunity. And an email came in and, hey, are you... Guess what? It's not me. That's the humility of it all. Man, I'd be terrified. This is way out of my skill set. I didn't even ask for this. But I asked God to bless me though. And the deal I made with God is, if you crack the door, I'll kick it down and run through it. Crack it. It don't even gotta be physically open. Just let me know it's unlocked. I'll kick it down and run through it, I promise. That's the deal I made with God. You understand what I'm saying? And I believe in aggressive evolution. You don't have to wait for something to happen. You can decide. You can push it. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to wait for circumstance to present itself. And no. And hard work creates opportunity. The discipline, the sacrifice, the consistency, the passion, the reinventing of yourself, the sacrifices you make in helping other people when you don't have, and inspiring other people and sharing the process with them, even though you haven't even ascertained to what you're working towards. With the understanding that success is inevitable, then the process is the gift. Most people want to hit a plateau and find safety there. You understand what I'm saying? Say, I'm good right here. This was my goal. I accomplished it. I'm good. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think that exists with me. The success doesn't come from what you're amazing at. What you're amazing at facilitates you doing, you reaching more people and you helping more people. What you're amazing at facilitates you to do work. If I'm a famous basketball player, I'm an MVP and I'm making millions of dollars, that's not what the success is. That then facilitates me to open a school, to help children who are in need and blah, 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 or a hospital. Do you understand what I'm saying? The work doesn't end. So that doesn't mean I'm an overachiever, but now I created a school and now the school is amazing and it's doing amazing things. And then I open 5 more. That's not overachieving. That's not being unsatisfied. That's a higher level of accountability. Your talent and your gift is given to you to facilitate what your purpose is.